What is going on, YouTube? We are back with a new video this week. We're going to do a nice and simple vlog style update on the happenings within these vivariums. Thought I'd give you guys a look at some of the new growth, talk about some failures and some future plans for the room in general, as well as answer a few questions that we've had over the past few weeks, specifically around the planted wall in the big jungle. So let's stop wasting time and get right to it. Let's start with the big Rainforest vivarium. This is growing in really well. We have a heap of new growth. Up on the plant wall, we've got air roots shooting out on the neon pothos. Down here, we got a new shoot. This is from the big dragon's tail. I'm really excited about that. It's such an awesome plant. Makes a real impact and fills in space really nicely. We've got a bit of growth off of this one here. I can't remember the name of this, but it is enjoying its time in here as well. We added this one the other day. Everything is growing really well. There's some more pothos growth up here. I really can't wait for this to start spreading. Hopefully putting out vines across all of this to make all this look nice and lush. Now, I've had a few people ask about how exactly this works. So I didn't put a dripper system in this like you would in a normal living wall. All I did was add a few extra nozzles to the misting system that then drip down. This one here that points straight down, make sure all of this down here gets wet, soaking into the moss and clearly creating a very good substrate for plant growth. All of the dragon plants are doing well. This one fell over. I had to pin it. I think it's just a bit too tall. We have a little bit of new growth down here, which is a surprise. Over here, the green dragon. So this section that I planted up in a previous video did not survive. There's just not enough water getting down to it and soaking in. But the green dragon, as you can see, shot out a heap of new growth, which I then buried within this. So hopefully we will get a little baby leaf, a whole heap of growth, and that can do what the original plan was, having plants hanging down from here. All of this area up here is still looking nice. Down the bottom here, now I added these today. This is a bit of an experiment. These are cuttings off of a willow tree that I have planted directly into the pond. Hopefully we can get a bit of growth out of that. I saw it on another video where they made a carving and then had it grow back to life. So I thought, well, why not? I have access to that tree and we have a pond down here. So let's give it a try. All of the plants down here are actually doing really well. The elephant ears in the back there that you can't see are doing well. So hopefully we get some new growth out of this one and it can grow up nice and tall. And if it outgrows, at least it's nice and easy to remove. With this warm weather, everyone is hungry, and this is what the big boy does when he's hungry. He sits in his pond waiting for the opportunity to eat. Luckily, he's very good at telling the difference between me and food, but he has been chilling in there for the past few days. Now, a lot of people might think that that means that it's too hot. It is very warm in this room, so that could be playing a part. but I have noticed that whenever he is hungry, he will do that. Over at Lilith's enclosure, and it is having a little bit of a hit and miss moment. The philodendron in here is actually really loving this space, which is really nice and unexpected. I thought it was a bit of a risk, but it seems to have paid off. On the other hand, the umbrella tree is not loving it so much, which is a surprise because I thought that this was more likely the one that was gonna work out. I'm not really sure what it is. I did notice that the substrate was a little dry, so I added some sphagnum moss, but I think it might be a case of too little too late. The Zanzibars are doing good. This one was one that I just grabbed when I was grabbing the cuttings for the willow tree. Not actually sure of the species, but figured that I would chuck it in here and see if it would survive. Funnily enough, the umbrella tree up the back seems to be liking life a bit more. That is directly under this one here, which is a plant grow light. So maybe it's a case of not enough light. I'm not really sure. But I'm thinking that I'm just going to pull this out and replace it with a rubber tree that is nice and tall and can get a bit closer to the light regardless. So might do that either tonight or maybe tomorrow and see how that goes instead. Over in Eris's enclosure, things are going well. The bamboo palm, not doing the greatest, honestly. I wanted this plant for a really long time because I thought it would mimic bamboo quite nicely. But in all honesty, I'm not loving it. It's a bit too sparse, really, I think, for this space. I wanted this to look like a bamboo thicket. But you got to try these things and find out. Down here, the rabbit's foot fern did not survive. The table fern's doing quite well. It's had a little bit of die-off, but nothing too dramatic. The pond's actually not doing that great. The trickle's slowed down quite a bit. Thinking that maybe the pump is a bit clogged, so I need to pull that apart and have a look. But we've got lots of new growth. This umbrella plant here is doing really well. Up here, the dragon tail copped a bit of damage because it grew directly into the heat lamp, which is a bit unfortunate. We have a new leaf up here, also a little bit damaged from the heat. I think I'm probably just going to cut this back and encourage some new growth. But all in all, I really love these. It's probably time to remove the support and allow it to grow a bit more freely and hopefully not directly into the heat lamp again. That's about all the updates for the enclosures themselves. For the room, over here, I have this display board, and down the bottom there, a plastic tote. What I want to do is replace this pond with a living wall that runs the entire length up, giving me the ability to grow even more plants. Do a nice rock facade for the planter box and do a full-on hydro system. This one will have a drip system running down the wall itself, so that'll be a video in itself, as well as this here, which you might just look like a drain, but my plan is for this to become a moss pole. So there'll be a plant pot down here, moss pole up the outside of the enclosure, which can be extended in the future, and I can have plants growing up the outside of the enclosure itself. So that, and then I was thinking of putting a long planter along the bottom here, as well as another moss pole up that side. Having plants outside of the enclosure and having the animals react to them has been something really, really cool that I want to play around with more. So I figure, why not? Gives me more space for plants, and it'll really bring the inside of the enclosure to the outside and into the room, which I think even just having the plants in here in general does that to a degree, but why not take things even further? Up here, this enclosure here is going to be replaced very, very soon. There has been another reptile enthusiast and enclosure builder reach out to me wanting to collaborate on a project. So I was thinking, hey, why not replace this with a 4x4x2? But it is going to be the most custom enclosure that I have designed to date. So lots of exciting features, and that will definitely be an entire video, if not a series. And then this mess up here will go away and be replaced. So we'll have another enclosure, same size as this one, that stacks here. And that will be Odin's replacement, because his enclosure is really, really not doing that well. Entirely my fault. The not having a misting system in here and my lack of attention has led to most of the plants dying. We've still got some. The bridal veil seems to be extremely hardy, so looking forward to working with that a bit more and seeing how that can be utilized. And the weed plant that just took off seems to work really well. Our little man is up here, probably hungry just like everyone else. So this enclosure is going to be replaced shortly. It's been fun while it lasts, but he's almost outgrown it anyway, or at least for my standards. So this will be another one that gets replaced, and that will pretty much complete the room as far as enclosures themselves go. I say complete the room because that entire room is basically a prototype for what I want to achieve in the future, with a bigger facility, more space, and more opportunities to really push the limits of how we keep our reptiles and how we can improve on our animal husbandry and what we offer our animals. So that's it for today, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Leave some comments down below with any questions that you want me to address in future videos, and I will see you on the next one.